Hi, and welcome to this audIT.app demo. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll give you a guided tour of audIT.app and some of its awesome features. So, grab yourself a coffee, sit back, and enjoy. For the purpose of this video, we'll skip the subscription step and show you audIT.app from the perspective of a system admin, as this will be the top-level role within your business. The first thing we need to do is log in, using your email address and password. We've designed the system with techies in mind, so you don't need to be an IT boffin to use it. To make things simple, we'll run through the navigation here, and look at each section, and what it allows you to do. The home screen has a number of tabs for the most frequently used features. The My To-Do List tab shows you anything that's been assigned to you, for example completing a system audit or verifying an action. To complete anything on your to-do list, you simply click on the item and you'll be taken to the relevant page. The next tab is the Create NC tab. This allows any user to easily create a nonconformance. You'll see that we have included a source of the nonconformance. As we know, the nonconformance could come from various parts of your business. There's a whole host of sources you can choose from. So, for example, if your customer service team were logging a complaint, they'd initially select Complaint from the source dropdown. This then displays another dropdown to help us identify the type of complaint, for example a foreign body, which in turn displays a third dropdown allowing us to specify the foreign body type. The next field is Raised By, so we know who initially raised this nonconformance. From here you'll be able to select any users that you have added for your business. This is followed by a date picker, allowing us to choose a date for when the nonconformance was raised. And, the last field in this column is the topic that the nonconformance relates to. This field is used to define who gets notified once the nonconformance gets created. Okay, onto the right column. Here we have your notes, where you can document the specific details of the nonconformance. Under that is where you would upload any evidence, and this can be in the form of images, videos, audio clips, or documents. And, to make it easy to identify what the evidence is, we can also give each piece of evidence its own title. The final part of the page is used to determine the nonconformance grade of minor, major or critical. Selecting either of the first two options will give you an additional question to answer, to help the system determine the grade of the nonconformance. The accountable manager can then either accept the nonconformance or pass it to another accountable manager. When an accountable manager has been sent a nonconformance, they will see a screen like this. On the left you can see the information regarding the nonconformance, whether it was created manually or as part of a GMP inspection or system audit. On the right, you can see the information about accepting the nonconformance. If the accountable manager doesn't accept responsibility for this nonconformance, then a drop-down appears so they can reassign it to another accountable manager. If they do accept the nonconformance, then it will ask the accountable manager if they would like to delegate it. If they said yes, they'd like to delegate it, a list of all the users they can delegate it to is shown. If they don't delegate it, there's one final question left to answer, asking if they are ready to create the actions for this nonconformance. Checking yes and clicking the Send button will create all the required action tabs. From the CA tab, you will be able to create any corrective actions associated with this nonconformance. In the left column are all the details relating to the corrective action, and if it's from a system audit it will also include the question that's related to the NC. The right column is where you add all the details of the corrective action. You can add as many corrective actions as required, and send them to the relevant team member to complete. Once you've added all the details and hit send, then the person you assigned as an actioner will receive an email telling them they have been assigned a corrective action. At the same time, audIT.app will add the corrective action to their to-do list. On the RCA tab, you can record details for your root cause analysis team. We don't tell you how you need to conduct the root cause analysis. Clicking Save notifies your RCA team so they can complete the analysis, add evidence and get it verified. The PA tab allows you to add any preventive actions. It works in the same way as the Corrective Actions tab. The Create Pro tab lets any user manually create improvement actions. Improvement actions cover both proactive and remedial actions. So, that's any action that isn't a deviation from the standard. This means that audIT.app can manage all the actions, whether they are from management meetings, morning meetings, or even health and safety near misses. This also means that all your actions get managed in the same way. Assigning it to your team and tracking the outcome couldn't be simpler. Let's take a quick look at how easy it is to add a new improvement action. First, you select the source of the action from the drop-down. Don't worry if the source of the action isn't on the list. You can simply select Other, and a custom source field will appear, so you can type your own source type. By selecting a user from the Raised By drop-down, we record who has initially raised the improvement action. This is followed by a date picker, allowing us to choose a date for when the improvement action was raised. The Assign to drop-down allows us to pick which person we'd like to assign this specific action to. The person you select from this list will be notified that they have an action once we click the Send button. The final field in the left column is Due Date, which allows you to set a completion date for this action. Moving on to the right column, you can see we have an Action Notes field, allowing you to add any specific notes or instructions to the action. You can also attach any supporting info to the improvement action in the form of photos, videos, or documents. And now we've completed all the info, we'd hit the Send button. This saves the improvement action into audIT.app, and sends the notification to your team. audIT.app will schedule your inspections and create them when they're due. But, you can also use this tab to manually create additional GMP inspections that you want to add to your schedule. Before you create a GMP inspection, you'll need to set them up in the Settings area. We'll cover how to do this shortly, but first let's quickly run through this tab. From the first drop-down you select one of your GMP inspections. The other fields are all pretty similar to the other tabs in this section. So you have Raised By, to document who created the GMP inspection, Date Raised, who you're initially assigning it to and when it's due. And of course, you can add any specific instructions or notes, and upload attachments such as documents or images. audIT.app will schedule your audits and create them when they're due. But, you can also use this tab to manually create additional system audits that you want to add to your schedule. Once you've configured your audits from within the Settings area, you'll be able to quickly create them from this tab. From the first drop-down, you'll need to select which of the 18 topics your audit relates to. After that, all the fields are similar to those found in the other home tabs. Just to recap, they are Raised By, Date Raised, Assigned To, Due Date, Notes, and Evidence Upload. Hitting the Send button will trigger the notifications to your team. This is the area you would visit to check on how the system is performing, if you're doing an internal audit, or if you wanted to present information to an external auditor. It's called the Program Information Area, as in the standards they call it the Internal Audit Program. From the Program Information link on the main navigation, you will be taken to an Overview tab. Here you can see all the standards you're currently subscribed to, and when they were last updated. You can see what was updated by clicking the View All Amendments link. You can also toggle on or off any additional standards you have added from within your settings area. The next tab in the Program Information area is NCs. This shows you a list of all your nonconformances. You can filter these nonconformances by date range and status. You can also search the nonconformances if you're looking for something specific. If you click on any of the nonconformances, you can see all the details of that particular item. The actions follow a similar format. On the GMP Inspections tab, you'll see a list of all your business's GMPs. Let's take a look at what a GMP inspection looks like if we go into it. GMP Inspection and System Audits both have a page that shows you all of the questions. You can scroll through all the questions and they can be completed in any order that you like. Let's start by going into the first question. You can see on the left-hand side you've got the question itself. Then you have the reference for the clause to which this question came from. Clauses without prefixes are related to your core standard, and are always shown first. If the question relates to more than one clause, each clause will be shown. If you are on Plan 4 and have enabled additional standards, these would also appear after the core standard clauses. All the additional standard clauses have prefixes. For example, for M&S the prefix would be MS or MSI for the integrity standard. On the right-hand side, you've got the results of the question. Here you can say whether it's conforming or not, or if it's not applicable. For GMP inspections, if you click Yes or Not Applicable, you can move on through the questions. But, if you define something as non-conforming, then it will make you write something in this notes box before you're allowed to move on to the next question. Under the Notes, there's an Evidence button, allowing you to upload any supporting evidence. Clicking the Evidence button will open a modal. From here you can upload files in various formats, for example, images or videos. You can also give each piece of evidence an additional title to help you identify it. If you've selected No, then you'll also get this additional tick box. This will allow you to close out the issue. For example, if you tell somebody on your inspection that there was an issue, they go off to clean or fix it and they come back while you're still doing the inspection to say it's done. Then you can close that out and say what they've done about it and provide evidence to show that it's been completed. So essentially, you're raising the nonconformance, completing and verifying it all at the same time. You'd then continue to work through all the questions. You don't have to complete them all at the same time, you can save your progress and complete it at your own pace. When a question has been answered, you'll see a tick next to it on your question list. The colors of the ticks represent how you answered the question. Once you've answered all the questions, you'll see you get a new button to complete the GMP. Clicking this button will open a modal. From here you can either complete the inspection by pressing the Confirm button. This will mark the inspection as complete, and at this point, it will no longer be editable. Or clicking the Edit button would allow you to make further changes to your inspection before completing it. Once you've made any changes, you'd simply return to this screen in order to make sure you complete the inspection. So, now we know how to complete a GMP inspection, let's take a look at system audits. The system audits are similar to the GMP inspections. You'll first see a question list. This can be completed in any order you like. Clicking on the question takes us to that specific question screen. As with GMP inspections, you have the question here. You then have the clauses reference it relates to. And, if you're on Plan 4, this will include any clauses from the additional standards you've enabled. On the right-hand side, you've got the options for yes, it's conforming, no, it's not conforming, or not applicable. If you set it as conforming or non-conforming, then you'll need to add notes to support this. This is to ensure you're recording the required information before you can proceed to the next question. Under the Notes, there's an Evidence button allowing you to upload any supporting evidence. Clicking the Evidence button will open a modal. From here you can upload files in various formats, for example, images or videos. You can also give each piece of evidence an additional title to help you identify it. If you've set it's non-conforming, you'll see these additional fields appear. The selection here determines whether it would be a minor, major, or critical nonconformance. You'd then continue to work through all the questions. You don't have to complete them all at the same time, you can save your progress and complete it at your own pace. When a question's been answered, you see a tick next to it on your question list. The colors of the ticks represent how you answered the question. Once you've answered all the questions, you'll see you get a new button to complete the audit. Clicking this button will open a modal. When you click the Confirm button, all your nonconformance will be created and sent to your team. This will also mark the audit as complete, and at this point, it will no longer be editable. In this section, is where the system will do the risk assessment for you. Normally we would do this on an Excel spreadsheet and it would be done once a year. However, audIT.app does this monthly on each of the 18 topics that you use. So, on the last minute of the last day of every month, it'll do a calculation based on the risk assessment that we've given it. There's a procedure that goes with the system, that explains the risk assessment and how it works, but essentially it will do this assessment and calculate whether the frequency needs to increase or not. It's set to 12 monthly by default, and if the risk assessment defines that it needs to increase because it's found a problem, then it will increase the frequency from 12 months to 9 months. And, if it then finds another problem when it repeats the risk assessment at the end of the following month, then it will step you down again from 9 months to 6 months, and so on. If it finds that it was just a blip, then it will assess the information, to determine whether it can bring you back out to the 12 monthly default. It works on the M&S theory of 3 clear visits and you're out. So, it might be that during a 12-month period that you have a blip. Audit app then takes you down to a 9-month frequency. If you then had 3 clear months at this frequency, you'd go back to 12 months. But the system has recorded that there was a blip and what the results of that were. To do the calculation, it takes into consideration information that shows that the system isn't working. They are manual nonconformances that are created from things like complaints or incidents where a problem has occurred. It doesn't take into account nonconformances generated from GMP inspections and system audits, because they're a good thing. They show that the system is working and that you're finding the problems and fixing them before it creates an issue. Once it goes into what we call the recovery program, if it moves you away from the 12 months default frequency, Audit app will start to look for more information. So, it will take into account any nonconformances that are generated on GMP inspections and system audits, but only while it's in the recovery program. When you get back to the 12-month default, it reverts back to only taking into account problems that are generated through manual nonconformances. Let's now look at how you would create users in Audit app. Navigate to Users on the top menu. Here you have 2 tabs, one is the Overview and the other is Create User. The Overview will provide you with a simple table showing you the users you have set up, and what roles they've been assigned. Let's create a user, by clicking the Create User tab. You can see there's a form we need to complete. Let's run through the roles before we fill it in. All users will get the default user roles, for proactive actions and non-conformance actions. Then we have a General section, where you can give other users the role of System Manager. This will give them permission to see everything within Audit app and they'll have certain edit privileges too. Then you have an Accounts role. This is great for your finance team, as it will allow them to download invoices, or change payment details for example. Next is the Non-Conformance Action roles. Here you can give a user the role of Identifier. This role allows users to create nonconformances. For example, you'll need to give this role to your customer services team so that they can create nonconformances relating to complaints. There's then the Root Cause Analysis role. This role must be given to all users who are going to be organizing and recording root cause analysis. When root cause analysis is needed, everyone with this role will be notified by Audit app. The last of the nonconformance action roles is the Verifier. This role allows the user to verify and close out corrective and preventive actions, relating to a particular topic or GMP inspection area. Next, are the System Audit roles. For each system audit topic, you must assign an accountable manager. This user will automatically receive any nonconformances relating to this topic. Then there's the Auditor. This role is given to users who can carry out system audits. Then, you have the GMP inspection roles. Again, there must be an accountable manager for each GMP inspection area. You can assign that role here. Staff who are going to be carrying out GMP inspections will need the Inspector role. Right, let's complete this for the role of Accountable Manager. This is the most senior person within the business, so they're going to be accountable for any nonconformances which arise from Topic 1, Senior Management Commitment. Just add their name and their email. Then check the box for Accountable Manager under System Audits. Then press Save. Let's repeat that process for the Verifier, who's going to check any corrective or preventive actions which arise from nonconformances relating to Topic 1, Senior Management Commitment. Each time you press Save, you'll be directed back to the overview. You can now see both users with their roles defined. When you create a new user, they will receive an email notification telling them you've added them to the system. It also includes their password and a link for them to log in. You just need to repeat this process for each user you need. If you then want to edit a user's profile, you can do that by clicking on their name. This opens the Edit User tab, so you can change any of their roles or their email address. Or, if you want to disable a user as they've left the business, you can do that simply by ticking this box. And don't forget to click Save once you're done. From the main menu you can access the Audit app glossary. Within the glossary, you'll be able to check the meaning of hundreds of industry terms. If you're looking for some help when using Audit app, there's a live chat feature available during our office hours. Or, you can click the help link on the main navigation. This will open the Audit app knowledge base in a new browser tab. Here, you'll find an ever-growing library of super useful videos and how-to guides. Clicking on the cog icon at the top of the screen will take you to the settings area. The system setting area allows you to either set up audIT.app when you first start using the system, or to make any edits to the system once it's running. For example, if you need to change a role if someone leaves the business or you want to change the timings on reminders. Once you've created your users, you can assign them to the system audits. You'll find all 18 topics are already ready for you to assign users to. Simply click the edit link. On the edit modal, fill in all the fields with the relevant team members. Start by assigning a lead auditor. Next, you can exclude any auditors from this topic. After setting both the accountable manager and verifier, you set the month for the first audit. This date determines when all scheduled audits will take place. Hit save and you're done. Just repeat that process to add your team to the next topic. The GMP Roles tab allows you to assign roles to any of the GMP inspections you've created. When you first set up a GMP inspection, it will look like this. Click the edit link to start adding roles. From the edit screen, go through and assign your team members the roles they need. If you add more than one inspector, they'll all get notifications about this inspection and it will show on all of their to-do lists. Once you have assigned all the roles, hit save and you're all set. From the GMP Inspection tab you can add or edit your inspections. Clicking the Add GMP Inspection button opens up a new modal like this. Fill in all the fields on this screen. First is the master inspection you want to use from the list. Don't worry if you can't remember what's in each inspection, as you can double-check it using this link. Next, fill in a name for your GMP inspection. Remember to call it something your team will recognize. Then enter the frequency at which you'd like the inspection to occur. This needs to be set to the number of days. So, if you want your inspection to take place monthly, you'd add 30 here. Next, select the date you want your inspection to start using the date picker. And don't forget to tick the Enable Notifications checkbox if you want your team to get all the notifications and reminders related to this inspection. Now just hit save and you're done. You can see that the inspection is now shown on your list and is all ready to assign roles to it. Out of the box, all the notification emails are enabled and will run at a default frequency. However, this can be changed in the Reminders tab by clicking the edit link on the notification you wish to update. From here you can change the frequency of when the notification is sent or disable the notification entirely. We appreciate the time you've taken to watch this video. If you'd like to sign up, simply visit the audIT.app registration page. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact us using any of the methods below. By email, by calling, or join us on live chat.